Hi, everybody. This is Tom with Culture Chap. So, today I want to talk to you more about accents and a term you might not know, which is called non-fluencies. Non-fluencies is a phrase that means sounds that aren't words. So, do you know when you have a character on stage and they're looking at something and like, yeah, non-fluencies? They're not words, but they have meanings. It's, those kind of things. Now, often people are not doing enough of those on stage to make the character convincing, especially the younger actors or the less inexperienced people. It's not really real to have characters who never laugh, even when something is funny on stage, who never go, or humming, or anything that any of us do. You know, I've seen shows where the person on stage, where they were playing teenagers, and there was never any sound of like, psh, or ugh, or any of the teenager things. There was the motions and the acting of like, well, you have to give us a sound with that. It's part of the performance, okay? Nobody said nobody said there were some people that were playing French recently, and they didn't do anything that actual French people do. There was never any. Psh, psh. French people do that a lot. Maybe you thought it was insulting to imitate them that way, but that is a lot of what they do. And there was a lot of instances in the play where the person they were talking to, the French people, they didn't know. So there was a lot of like, without any of the sound, just the movement. I'm like, you've been watching a lot of movies, and that is certainly what they do, but they usually have a sound, a few times. Now, you can't just be the actor in the show that just has sounds coming out of their mouth, but if you are a smaller part and you're slightly eccentric, or you're meant to be more fun or comedic, or an older person or something, start peppering in those non-fluencies, you know? It's it's just making your performance more well-rounded, more interesting. Now, I have seen a lot of things where the audience reacts and the actors get lazier with their non-fluencies. So the audience is laughing, the characters who are supposed to be laughing at the thing on stage don't laugh as much. That's very odd. Do your laugh, don't worry about them. They'll laugh if it's funny. Sometimes they won't laugh at all. Sometimes they'll see your character laughing and they won't care. And you think, oh, we didn't hit that joke correctly. That's not funny anymore. I'm going to do something else. No, that's just this night's crowd. And they just don't find that thing funny. Who knows why? It can hit at different times. Real people in life, they have sounds, they laugh, they hum, humming especially when there's like some sort of like dish doing or busy work on stage. People hum. Not every character hums, but some people hum. Now, also, I want to talk about accents because there's always a lot of questions about accents. The Even the best actors, even someone like Meryl Streep said, uh, when I was doing Sophie's Choice or Out of Africa, it wasn't so much I was getting down that Danish or Polish. I'm not sure what her character was in Sophie's Choice. I think she was Polish. It's not that I was getting down their exact. I wasn't studying Poland and making a decision that she's from this neighborhood, she sounds like this. It was mostly an imitation of the person teaching me the accent, and that's how I got to where I needed to be. Not an exact imitation, but enough of the word sounds to make it convincing. So, if you are finding that you're doing an accent and it's not convincing, reel it back in, okay? And then do a little more studying and then make some decisions. Um, I'm going to make people mad, but there were some students, very advanced students, learning a lot of dialects in Glasgow, and they wanted my help with a streetcar named Desire. But all the students, bless them, They all sounded like the Golden Girls. They all had that kind of Moonlight and Magnolia kind of sound to them, and they all sounded the same. I've talked about this in other videos, but not all the characters in that play are meant to sound the same. They all have different styles of Southern accent. And it's New Orleans, which has a whole bunch of accents. Okay? So we have to establish which character does what. And if there's some inkling in your head that this accent may be insulting, figure out why. And figure out what you can do to make it less insulting. Now, I grew up with a Jewish godmother. I had a regular godmother, but I had a self-appointed Jewish godmother because, as she said, you can never have that many godmothers. It's like Pringles, you can't have just one. And she was from Long Island. Now, there are people that know her and know me, and they thought that a little Goyashem, that means a little white kid, imitating a Jewish adult who was 40 years his senior, was not appropriate. But she encouraged it. She knew I was in the arts. She knew that accents would come up, and she wanted to get things correct. Now, I never did the things that would be insulting, but if I was coaching someone to play a Jewish person from Long Island that was from that era, I would encourage them to find the accent and the neutral part of the accent that wasn't insulting. Okay? Sometimes you're playing roles that aren't what you are. Sometimes there will be white people playing Jewish people, and you think, well, they had no business doing that, and their accent is off. So don't go at the accent as hard as you would. You're not auditioning to play an extra on the Nanny TV show. Okay? You're on stage. All your words have to be understandable. You have to give a hint of it. And some people will disagree with me, but I want to bring up John Barrowman. He is on Doctor Who and that other series, Torchlight? I'm forgetting. Torchwood. And Mark Rylance, both British actors that spent a lot of time in America. So John Barrowman sometimes almost has an American accent. He was Scottish originally, and now he has something that is sort of a hybrid between. Alan Cummings, very Scottish, now perfect Scottish accent, but slightly hybrided. Okay? He's not turning into an American. Mark Rylance is not turning into an American. His British accent isn't the same as it was originally because he lived in the States. Okay? There's a lot of this. Your characters do not have to have the thickest, most intense accent for that area. You don't know their backstory, or you can create a backstory. They are public speakers, so they're not as Southern, as English, as Welsh, as South American, as Brazilian, as other Brazilians, or any of those things. Or I have a hint of the accent, just enough, but everything can be understood. And I'm running into words in this accent that in the scene I'm doing cannot be understood unless I straighten them out a little bit, unless I open them up a little bit, unless I hit the consonants different than I would if I was actually a person in that country. Okay? You may think it's fake, but you have to reach a point where your accents, your words, your non-fluencies, all the information is understood completely. Completely. Don't start doing non-fluencies because they're fun if they have no meaning. Don't start doing non-fluencies all the time when nobody else in your cast is doing them. Okay? Create the right kind of characters in the right kind of stage setting. And I know a lot of you out there are thinking that I'm encouraging you to do all these things to do a better performance, and I am. And in reality, you're going, I think this is a really good excuse to start upstaging. I can do lots of non-fluencies. I can do an accent that I want to. I'm going to get all the attention upstage. Maybe your brain isn't saying that exactly verbatim. I'm going to upstage. But there's a little inkling in your brain that says, it could be too much. And you're like, good. Fight that feeling. Just do it enough. Just enough to make a good character. Don't steal all the focus with your new clever discoveries. All right. You didn't do anything wrong, and you feel like I'm lecturing you, but I'm not. I'm just helping you with your performance. All right. That's enough for today. Broaden your stuff. Do your research. It all works better. All right. Please like and subscribe, and we'll talk again. Thanks.